Another
And I
athlete
look at,
that, when you
yeah,
speak on that about being strategic, another athlete that I know was very strategic, who you would have been watching as you were coming up, would have been Edwin Moses, who actually
yes,
had the world
yo,
record before you.
he's the rubber stamp of being of a strategist. I mean, the crazy
Yeah,
thing about it is him being, the gold standard, was the fact that I remember even when I was hurdling the intermediates, I was trying to run 13 like it.
right,
But I'm so gangly and long, I'm the Spider Man.
right.
I'm running up on hurdles and just beating me up, just killing me, just wearing me
I
down.
heard you call him the GOAT and yourself the FOAT.
Oh, I'm
What does
definitely the
that
folk.
mean?
No, he's the GOAT, the greatest of all times, and I'm the folk. I'm the fastest of all
Right.
times.
I heard that.
And it's funny because I have the conversation now, watching, especially after last summer, watching Warholm do his thing, in the conditions. I'm so delighted to watch the pursuit of individuals running the hurdles nowadays. It really blows my mind, especially for someone as talented as he is. Not just him. It goes for Rye. It goes for Samba as well. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess it initially started. To me, it started with Rye. It's funny because
For
for
those that
someone
don't
like,
know, Rai Benjamin, Warholm, Samba, they're all 400-meter hurdlers. And just to understand the history of it, Edwin Moses was unbeaten for 9 years, 9 months, 9 days. But he wasn't able to dip under that 47 mark. He actually got the world record, but it was 47:02. It wasn't until Kevin came along that anyone dipped under that 47 mark, and he got the world record with 46:78. Now, these three gentlemen that Kevin is referring to have all also dipped under that 47 mark and are very close to, touching on that world record. I wanted to know, actually, why do you think it's taken so long to have anyone even get near to your record?
I can be brash and say something really stupid. I can be the K Young that I want to be. Um, I
Give us
think
the both
I
versions.
guess records have been to be broken in due time.
Right.
The talent is definitely there. I personally, I mean, honest with you, I've had this conversation many times with many people. Like I said, I've kind of seen that record in my mind's eye being broken, should have been broken by Angelo Taylor, based
Right.
upon his talent level.
Yeah.
I believe that Corinne Clement could have broken the record as well.
So
I
what are they
mean,
missing?
anybody.
What's missing in
I
their
think.
situation?
I think strategy. And literally, it's not talent.
Right.
It's definitely not talent. It's all strategy. It's like how are you going to focus and run your race and kind of isolate all the white noise and run what you're capable of doing. And because when I mean, I see races in my head. When Karan had broken the world indoor record, ran 44.5 in the quarter indoors, breaking Michael Johnson's record, I was like, yo, to run 44 seconds indoors, and he's a
Yeah.
hurdler. Oh, my record is gone. And
Right.
then he goes, national champion. He runs. He breaks my collegiate record, because I
Right.
used to have the NCAA record. I didn't have the SWAC record because Edwin had the SWAC record. And
Right.
that's the interesting thing. That's interesting because I kind of was like, figure out how come Edwin's 47, 54 that he did in the 76 games wasn't the national championship record. Different conferences,
Right.
you
Right.
know. So I had the NCAA meet record for 17 years, literally. So at one point in time, I had the NCAA record, the world record, the Olympic record, the school record. I had all these records, and I was like, okay, 17 years strong. And then on that ill-fated day, Karan broke my record in the 400 hurdles. Well, he dipped under my record. He dipped, and I think Benny Blaze dipped under my record. There was a few guys that day dipped under my collegiate record at the time, NCAA record. But just watching them run and do their thing, I said it's just strategy. Because like I said, even when I ran in '88, when I ran the 47.94, taking fourth place behind Edwin, I didn't have a strategy. Gun went off. I'm just running.
A to B, go.
Well, 12 stepping. I'm just alternate. And the crazy thing about it is that's the same thing that happened to me at the NCAA meet in 1986 when I
Right.
faced Danny Harris.
Right.
I had a strategy going into that race, but a lot of times when you get into the race with your competitors, a lot of stuff just goes out the
Goes
window.
out the
And I
window.
realized that happened to me. That happened to me in the NCAA meet race in '86, because I was supposed to get to the first hurdle with my left leg in 20 steps. I got to the first hurdle in that race in 19 steps on my right leg. So
Right.
I'm alternating for the second, third, fourth hurdle, going
In
back and forth
places
for
you weren't
12
supposed to.
strides.
So
Danny's
wait,
doing it.
you did 11 strides at one point, which for people that don't understand hurdles, this is unheard of. There's only two people that have ever done that, and both of them are Kevin Young.
Yeah,
he's,
yeah.
he,
It did it, did
you
it, it
know,
did it, it did it twice. Did it?
right.
It's
You
funny.
did it twice.
This, the crazy thing about this is how I did it in my first NCAA meet race in 1986 with Danny
Right.
Harris, facing
Yeah.
the silver medalist from '84, and I'm freaking out because I'm racing against one of the coldest hurdlers that I know in my time.
Right.
And then I do it again in the first round in Barcelona, just being
Right.
amped up in the village,
Adrenaline
training on the
pushing.
track, and like don't know how the feeling is going to be once you got on that new Mondo surface that's in Montjuic,
And to
right?
put
So
that in perspective, Edwin Moses did 13 strides, and he's a very tall, strong, big
and
man.
he
So for someone to do 11,
he did, and you can see all of 13 in Edwin's stride.
yeah.
He leaves nothing for the imagination. It's just smooth and long.
Yep.
Bang bang.
So was it an
And
accident? It was an accident. It was the adrenaline pushing that put you onto that
yes,
11. Because I watched it and I was like, this guy looks like he's about to do the splits. I mean, you were all the way
on that
stretched out.
in 86. Like I said, I got thrown off my step, getting
Right.
caught up with Danny, and the only way for me to get back on my dominant left leg as a lead, I had to just take the hurdle with the leg, and so I took it from the fourth hurdle going to the fifth, and I just kind of sized it up and just went airborne. Literally, just took
Man.
off and held it as high and as long as I could. And if you ever see the footage, I clipped the hurdle with my toe on my trail toe.
Right.
But the next hurdle was 13. I was able to kind of back off and go boo, 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 boo,
Calm
13.
it down a
And then it
bit.
was
Yeah.
13 for the rest of the race. But at that
Right.
point, that surge of energy that I utilized, I was spent, because when Danny came off the eighth hurdle, he just ran me down
Right.
and ran
Right.
past me. And like I said, he
But it's
won the
like you
race.
said, it's strategy, really, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
sometimes if you get off that strategy, it may seem like a good thing. Oh, yeah, I've gotten less strides, but that can actually, be a
Defeat you,
hindrance to
Jack,
you. Now, that
big
makes me
time.
wonder, like when you look at, Rai, Samba, Warholm, they're all very differently built. They're all different kinds of athletes. If you were to just looking at where they're at right now today, who do you think is most likely to be able to tap under your time if anyone can do it? Is there anyone
Well,
that kind of stands out?
the record will be broken. That's. I mean, I've seen the record broken twice in my
Right.
mind. I saw it broken last year in Zurich, when
Right.
Carson ran 92, and Rye ran what 96. Yeah, 92 and 96. Because Sambo's best is 98, right? Yes.
Right.
I saw that race, and I'm in the stands, and I'm looking at these guys run, and of course Carson is blazing. He's gone. He's a bat out of
Yeah. He
doing
doesn't
it,
waste any time.
and those guys are running, and the only reason why the record didn't get broke that night, or the only reason why those two guys didn't go under their record, because it would have been their record at the time, was because Rye got to the 10th hurdle and went 14 steps as opposed to 13. Warholm goes 15 the last two hurdles. Bop, bop. He couldn't open. He was at his limit at that time.
Yeah.
But they literally outran me the whole point of the race to the last two hurdles. Basically, Warholm stepped down to 15 from 13 to 15. I guess he was trying to figure it out. And Rye went from 13 to 14 that last hurdle. And, tenths of a second, that literally cost him from not running sub 46.78. And after the race was over, I'm like, whew. It was a great race. I ran down the field, gave Carson a hug, I believe. like I said, it was, it's amazing to watch. It's amazing to watch them do what they do. Um, and I don't take nothing away from their talent and their initiative. Um, Even when Ryan ran the 47:02 in Hayward Field on a rainy day, I was watching. I saw the race, and I'm looking at the race. I'm saying, did he go 12? I couldn't figure out because he was just so smooth. And at that point in time, when he ran the 47:02 one week, and then not Rye, but Samba runs the 47:98 in Paris, I'm like, these guys are coming. Matter of fact, I think the Samba run the 46:98 before Rye ran the 47. No. Rye ran the 02. Samba runs the 46:98. And those two guys, and then of course Warham comes next year. He had one incredible year last year.
Yeah, very powerful.
You know how it is. You know how hard it is. This guy was running races by himself. We
Oh
all
gosh, yeah, and he
strategize
went out
races
there and ran that
in which
300.
you kind of gauge yourself off your competitors.
Yeah,
I gauge
yeah.
off Danny. Danny gauges off me. I gauge off Edwin and vice versa and all that.
Hmm.
This guy's running by himself.
Yeah,
Running by
that was
himself,
incredible.
blazing and running sub 40, run for sub 47 seconds or 47:0 races. And I'm going, oh, he got it. But the cool piece about it is this. I would say the advantage, I would say there's no, well, the advantages is this. First and foremost, I think now even race technology is different. The track surfaces are a lot lighter and conducive to run faster now. Even running spikes and even the training flats. I mean, Nike showed us that with their vapors, the air vapor, da 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 da's. To a point where just the research and the technology and the design of product now makes it conducive. And of course, you have athlete performance, in training that helps athletes recover now. I mean, you got folks get into O2 tanks and nitrogen tanks.
You guys didn't have all that stuff.
Chambers. I mean,
yeah.
I saw a nitrogen chamber, and I'm going, whoa, how long you stand? Oh, you just stand at 30 seconds. And I'm like, what? Back in that day, you had to get in that trough.
Ice. That was it.
All that ice, they had to scoop it up buckets of ice, throw it in the training room, and you got to deal with it. Not to take away none from their talents because they're exceptional athletes. It's the same conversation they had when I was coming up. This guy's 6'4", he has a 37-inch inseam. He's supposed to run that way, and they're right. These guys, and the cool piece about it is it's like in their mind's eye watching them, they literally are taking the hurdles out of the race and literally running the quarter.
Right.
But it's typically about strategy though. But one thing about what I do love, it's not even about the record being broken. In my lifetime, we may be able to see somebody run under 46 seconds.
Right. That's true. Now that will be interesting. Yeah. Do you think it will be a bit of an adjustment? You won't be introducing yourself as Kevin Young, the world record holder anymore if that happens. Will that, after 3 decades, which is a long time of doing that, will that be a bit
what? I don't even think half the people don't even know I'm the world record. I meet so many people that still think Edwin the world record holder
really?
To this day. So it's not even. I don't even bug with it. I just I said, go do your research and then you find out.
Right. Now,
and to be honest with you,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say my pursuits. Like I say, I've conquered that particular mountain. My challenges have always been earmarked on. I'm the walk on. The Olympian, the two-time Olympian, the NCAA champion.
Yeah,
those are all the little simple steps that I was able to achieve over a period of time. And to me personally, each and every one of them is just important as me making UCLA's team is just as important as me making that Team USA. It gave an opportunity to prove myself amongst my teammates. Making Team USA provided me the same accomplishment. I mean, like I said, the biggest highlight of my life was when literally watching Quincy Watts, watching Butch Reynolds set the world record at Zurich, and being there when he does that, watching Quincy Watts set the Olympic record in the 400, and goes back to his room, sitting on in the bed in the suite, right, with the gold medal on his chest after the medal ceremony. He had a chance to wind down, and I'm in the room with him. I'm like, Q, man, what does it feel to be an Olympic gold medalist? You know, because like I said, I've been to the games. I got the pat on the back. I got the fourth place. I got the uniform and the certificate and all that. I left the first one without any hardware. So of course, this was different. And then to watch your roommate not just win the gold medal, but set an Olympic record. So that was always in my head, like, damn. Not that you want to, you know, uptick your roomie, but you want to do something just as good
Yeah.
as he did. How
Yeah.
do I go out there? And the crazy thing is, I mean, I go out there and I win my medal, and in pursuit of the medal, I set the world record. You know, one of the most illustrious world records that's been on the books. So I think that says a lot about. I mean, that definitely says a lot about my achievement. Um,
Yeah. Is
I
it
never
true you
forget.
used to write on a little piece of
Oh yeah,
paper
well, yo,
and put it in your
I wrote.
shoe, the world record time, and you'd put it in your
Well, at
racing
the
shoes?
time, the world record it would have been 46:89. That was my
Right.
targeted time, 46:89.
It,
Um, and the reason why was because I got my very first number one world ranking in the year 1989. I had the fastest time in the world that year. Um, Andre got after the Olympics Andre had got hurt in early '89, so he didn't
right.
finish out the season. He had a hamstring pull or something, and I was able to finish out the season with a fast time that I had. And I remember, literally to this day, I remember telling myself, if I sit back and constantly think about Edwin Moses being the world record holder in the hurdles, I will never break a world record because I'm constantly thinking about him being the world record holder. It's just a whole psychology thing.
Right. Right.
And I couldn't think about 47:02 because you know that's
His
E
time.
Moses. That's his thing. That's
Hmm.
his time. So it went hand in hand. So the only way for me to kind of really, I guess, create the software to put in the hard drive was for me to say, okay, think of a number, and that'll be your pursuit, and take that number 4689, and then reverse engineer it in numbers based on what we do on the track each and every day, and pursuit upon our workouts, and see how you can get as close as you possibly can to 4689.
And
And
you
then when I
busted
looked
right
at
through
it,
that number.
when I looked at it that way, it became easier for me to run the hurdle race, not
Right.
running trying to pursue a world record, not running
Right.
trying to break Edwin's record. It was like, Kev, if you run 22 flat for the first deuce, and that's slow compared to what these guys are doing now.
Right.
Track
It became
22
more
flat.
about you.
Yeah, it's then you can run 24:89. You run 24:89 for the last 200. And I'm going, oh, we do that with I can do that with my eyes
Right.
closed. Run
Right.
24 seconds over a deuce. Come on.
Right.
And so like
Right.
it made my the way in which I trained and put together the hurdle race, and even kind of broke down the hurdle race in practice, you know, running to the first three hurdles, running the turn,
Going
and
back
then
to
you
the
got,
strategy.
yeah, just back. It made the strategy so much more easier, and
Right.
I manifested it, and even the fact that that was the number that I kept programming myself with, you know, that was the 4689. And that, like I said, like you said, I had it on little pieces of paper, and it's one of those situations where I remember getting busted up in practice. I think I did a split 800, where you run a 500, jog 100, and you got to pursue the last 200 over the hurdles under X amount of time. And I remember doing that in practice, and I remember just being busted on the track, laid out, and I had another one to do, but then, you know, he had like maybe with full recovery, which is about anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes full recovery. And I remember running the first one, and you know, your feet are hurting. So I took my spikes off, and I was like, you tell yourself, why am I doing this? And then I remember, you know, I reached up under the insole and took the little note out, unraveled the little paper, and and I did that constantly. That was like my little motivation. I looked at the number and said, okay, that's why
Hang in there.
yeah,
Hang in there.
that's why I'm getting buzzed. I rolled it back up,
Yeah.
put it back in the
Motivation.
shoe, flip the insole back in, put the spikes back on, lace them up,
Keep going.
keep going, you know, line it up.
And you did.
And literally, yeah.
You
And
achieved. You
just
really did everything that you had planned to
I did
do.
it. I did anything, you know, like I've always, you know, I've always wanted to do something great in the Olympics. And not to discount my first team, because I literally pride myself being in that race, Amadou
Right.
Diaba, Edwin and Dre and Winthrop. I mean, that's a historic race. I'm watching Dre win, but like you mentioned earlier, how when I was at UCLA, Andre used to talk to me all the time. He would
Right.
constantly give me good things, say positive stuff to me, tell me to do this, do that. And like I said, really made my first breakthrough was at the Coliseum. It was the first time of me ever running the 400-meter hurdles in the Coliseum, because the last time I was in the Coliseum, I was running the 110s.
Right.
And I asked Dre, it was a simple question I asked Andre. I said, I think I may have called him Mr. Phillips at the time. I said, Mr. Phillips, how do you run here in the Coliseum? And he literally said, the wind is going to blow in your face when the gun goes off. He said, don't fall subject to be a victim of the wind blowing in your race, and ease up. He said, just
Right.
stay tall, lean into it, and run through the wind. He said, as soon as you get after the sixth hurdle on the top of the turn, it's going to shift to your back, and you're going to notice it. And you just get tall and just run hard.
Right.
And I
Right.
have been running 50. I ran 50.2 that whole summer. We had like Texas Relays 50 point, Modesto. Every different track meet that we went to. I ran 50:23, 50:22, 50:34. Could not break 49 seconds in that particular race. Matter of fact, it was the conference championships, uh, Pac-10 championships at the time. Right, we got a long way,
Long
and
way.
yeah, and I ran 49:06. And I think I may have set a record for that day, and won the conference championships. Uh, and it literally was everything he told me what the race was going to be about. And I kind of
Right.
lit the
Mm.
fuse, like, what, there's a strategy and a game plan this runners have to. I mean, we hear coaches talk about the drive phases and when to stay low and when to come up and when to really push it. When you hear coaches give that to sprinters, it makes sense to them. You know, when you hear quarter milers say it to each other, you kind of go, I don't know, because to me the quarter mile has always been such a. I never did like the. It took me a while to even like the four hurdles, because I did never like the 400, because I never had a gauge of that particular race. Watching guys just go off when the gun goes off, just blazing. Once I realized, okay, 12 steps to 13 steps, 19, 20 to the first, breaking the race down, and having that, I would say, that inner clock that you would have as an intermediate hurdler, that little timing system that we have in our head, that rhythm. It made the pursuit of running the hurdles a lot fun, and then you start adding that to along with the strategy
Right. Yep.
in your background of your base conditioning and all that. Even just having good teammates around that
And
you don't want to
start
let nobody, you don't want to let
piecing
them
everything
down.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything.
So, it looked like from the outside looking in, you have some great years. You have the Olympics, you have the world record, but at that point, you change coaches. What causes an athlete to need to make such a change when it seems like from, everyone's looking in like, oh my gosh,
You want do
this is
you
the
do
perfect
you
situation.
I'm gonna give you the K Young story. First
Yeah.
of all, a little bit of immaturity,
Right.
definitely
Right.
immaturity. But then again, I was immature. First of all, I shouldn't have left John Smith as an athlete,
Right.
because we have been close to the hip for my inception becoming a better.
Right. In college.
However, in my case, it was just straight up ego. I
Mm.
was pissed off. I mean, and I was mad at John, because I don't think that I don't think that I was treated fairly in this
Right.
whole pursuit of becoming this elite athlete, because it was a point in time where we had these conversations and discuss our matriculation in this world of track and field.
Right.
The ups and downs that we both shared as athletes, coach athletes, and just dealing with the system of the sport itself. And it got to a point where, like I said, in my case, it was definitely, in hindsight, it was immaturity. But then
Mm.
again, I looked at it something different. I got pissed off. by some different other some minor reasons what I shouldn't have gotten pissed off for. But to me, they were legitimate because I didn't think at the point in time that John was looking out for my best interest at the time, but he was looking out for his interests. And he may have
Right.
had this conversation with others. And it came at a point in time where a lot of shit was going on in LA. And I'm an LA dude, right? I'm an LA dude, born and raised, Compton and Watts, been all through the neighborhoods. And I'm a hip hop head. I'm watching my just people in my class, in my
Yeah.
time frame.
Yeah. From
And
your
one
era.
thing happened that really, I'm gonna tell you, this is the immature. This happened at a time where I remember, I remember veering away from John was when I suffered a knee injury, and it was because I had some spikes that were breaking down. And I'm not saying this was, it was the spikes alone, but it added to my confusion. And I was pissed off with John because it was a situation where I kept pursuing him to get at the Nike rep to give me my special design spikes, and he wasn't moving on it fast enough for me when I needed him. And then when I tweaked my knee, I remember I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit.
Right. Right.
I was, this is some
Right.
bullshit. And at the same time, Quincy and I just got back from the Olympic Games. We hotter than
Quincy
fish
Watts, right?
grease, hotter than fish grease. John Singleton is filming High Learning at Cal CLA, UCLA. You got all these Hollywood actors and shit on the track, and I'm like, well, shit. If anybody need to be in Higher Learning, I need to be in Higher Learning. I know all this, that, and the other, and I'm a track guy, and it had these track scenes, and so, and at the time, John was my representative before he really got into the representation game with Emmanuel. And things just wasn't firing off as smooth as it should have been. And like I said, a lot of it was, K Young, 20, 25, 26-year-old ego, but I think a lot of things were happening. I remember a point in time where I was like, well, shit, if they're filming Higher Learning at UCLA, maybe, I'm thinking in my head, maybe
Put me in, coach.
I'm the Olympic and world record holder. That should have been, cool. Get my man in, Baba. But knowing he ain't got no goddamn juice to do that, and that's not that's what that's my ego.
Hindsight.
Yeah, and it was a point in time where he was doing his acting thing, so he actually was in the film. So I'm like, okay, well, he was in the doing his acting pursuits. I'm supposed to be coached by him on the track because we got a season coming up. He's not there. He got my former teammate Darrell coaching me, and I'm like, how the hell you got your nephew coaching me? You my coach, and like I said, I was in my feelings too.
So there's this frustration at that point.
I think it was total frustration. But I was really upset more because I tweaked my knee.
Right.
That's what it was, and I actually blamed him for not being in the position to check cats at Nike, like, yo, give my man get him his stuff. You said you got it for him, make sure he has it. And it wasn't given any urgency. And the fact that it didn't get any urgency, I ended up getting hurt. So I kind of looked at it like that, Right. And so I was like, okay. And the worst thing I did personally is just leave, because I really should have sat down and chopped it up with him.
Right.
And it's just, that's when the strategy should have really kicked in. Not the shit that we did on the track, but the stuff that we should have kicked in and discussed off the track.
Well, that's the thing about us athletes.
We really should have got into it.
We're very, driven, and we're very aggressive. And sometimes
no doubt.
that kind of overflows into other areas of our lives where it doesn't always work in our benefit. So,
yeah. So I don't, it took me a minute to, get out of my feelings, but I don't, I don't fault him for none of that. I just, like I said, it was a bunch of immaturity. But the cool piece is the simple fact that we stuck together, and we had a pursuit for me to run fast and do it the right way.
Right.
Go out there, work hard, train hard, believe in yourself, trust yourself, trust your surroundings. And like I said, the best gift that was ever given to me as a walk on at UCLA was to connect with John Smith, and for us to get in each other's head, and literally selectively had that pursuit of me becoming the best intermediate hurdler that I can possibly be. The cool
Right.
piece is he had a birthday on the 5th in '92, and I ended up setting a world record the next day. So I guess
Wow.
my gift to John was uh, a world record in the '92 Olympics, and it was really dope. And that's, to be honest with you, that's the beauty of it all. You know, it goes way beyond the funky little shoes and all that. When it was time for us to get down on the track in front of 80,000 people, I was in the right space and time, and I did it. And you
Right.
can never take, for the two of us, you can never take that away from
Absolutely.
that relationship. Like everything else is water under the bridge. It's
Absolutely.
just conversation that people want to sit back and have drinks about. Talk about, remember that shit happening? Woo woo.
Right.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. But the beauty of it, I'm glad that he's been able to be to coach other Olympians. You know,
Yeah.
one of my favorites is Carmelita. She's one of my favorite sprinters
Right.
because I see that fire that she had doing her thing, and the only way she was able to get that, she had to get it from Smitty. You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
and I gave him mad love for that, and he always gonna be my dude. You know that.
Right. I love it. I love it. And like you said, there's certain things that we achieve, certain accomplishments that we have. It's in stone. No one can ever take away the fact that you held the world record. No one can ever take away the fact that you were Olympic.
I pat myself on the back because nobody's seen it coming. You know,
Yeah.
nobody's seen it coming. You know, I got a buddy of mine, Derek Thermostat. We talk all the time on all types of topics, and um, I'm going to be, I guess even I look at it now, just being here, stuck over here for this time being, is just to kind of think about all the cool things that I want to do with my life. Like I said, I got the dream board. I didn't put it up, and I've just been, or the bucket list. I just been checking stuff off. Like I said, I never thought I've always wanted to live in Europe. Never thought I'd be living over here under these particular circumstances and conditions. But I realized, I mean, literally just being here, watching what has been going on in the U.S. for the
Yeah.
past year, with all the BLM stuff and all the stuff, and I'm not surprised by nothing. The hardest part for me as an American over here is explaining all the shit that's going down in the U.S. to
Right.
the European people here. Because is that what's going on there? I say, yeah.
Right.
I'm not. Don't be surprised.
Exactly.
But I think just the crazy thing is just all the stuff just happened. Like I said, even when I was in the UK, I had this fatal bus accident that I was in, but I wasn't a casualty of it, well, in one way or another.
Yeah.
But I lose my life, and that happened in December of 2019. And when I got into that bus accident in 2019, I knew 2020 was going to be a tough year, boy, because I was in class, concussion, cracked head, stitches. To be honest with you, I don't even sleep regularly anymore. I don't.
Mm.
I could be up all night long
Wow.
and then sleep for a few hours and just be back up. And then of course that January came through, and that just blew me away when January came through. And then of course the COVID came through. That I
Right.
lost two uncles to the COVID, and I know I'm not. It's just it's just bad.
Right.
Just
Right.
it's just. I mean,
Things have definitely changed. The world has definitely
exactly.
changed a lot.
Things are definitely changing the world. It's interesting enough. It kind of gives you perspective on living, because when you're in the States and you see all these war torn countries and bombs being dropped in people's neighborhoods and bombs and all this shit, and you be like, it's so what far away from you, you so detached from it that you're not
Right.
really affected by it, and it becomes their problem over there, and how our government is involved in this, that, and the other. You go, well, and then, but this pandemic just kind of levels the playing field. It just
Right.
knocking people out left and right, and you don't know.
Well,
It's like you don't know where it's coming. It's like,
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even here, I wear masks, but I don't be in contact with many people at any given time. But we have protocols and procedures that we do, and people are sticking to it. And it drives me crazy when I watch the news in the States and people are like, I don't want to put on a mask. And your ass better put on that mask if that's going to keep you alive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just do it. Don't say it's my right as an American. No, it ain't. You're gonna end up
Right.
getting sick and you may end up dying. You're gonna be people hate being inconvenienced for some of the silliest things.
Right.
Silliest things.
Right.
But like I said, that it just the world has been changed upside down, But we
Yeah.
got to we'll get through it. Interesting enough, as a
We
sports
will.
person, I mean, even up until 20, even this is crazy, right? I looked at it like this: the only reason why my world record stood is because of COVID. Because of COVID, if the COVID wouldn't out, that record would have been shattered.
Right. They
Because
may
he
have
would,
busted through
I
it.
would tell you now, because they would have had the fans in the stands screaming and yelling,
Yeah.
and the energy would have been there, and it would have been a wrap. And it's crazy. I was in my head in 2019, trying to figure out first of all, who's going to be the first one to break the record. I'm looking at Samba first, and then of course Rye, and then Warhol comes out of nowhere, does his thing, and then you go, okay, so the beauty of it is, to be honest with you, you got three individuals, fresh individuals who are all sub 47 hurdlers.
Right.
That is
Right. That's
incredible.
crazy. Yeah.
That
That
is
is not
crazy. That is, because I know how hard it is to run 48, 48 1.
right.
You got guys breaking 47 seconds, and you know what? And people are like, "Oh, are you scared so and so gonna break your record? I know you nervous." I'm like, dude, I did the record 28 years ago,
Right.
and I I I didn't I didn't think that the record was gonna last as long as
That long
it
anyway.
did. And I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
plus, it's an honor being able to have an opportunity seeing these guys pursue the record, go
Right.
after it.
Right. Right.
And like I said,
Well,
once again, I'm relevant again.
yeah,
You know,
exactly. And we'll
I'm
definitely
relevant.
be on the edge of our seats, looking out for who does it. And I would love to talk to you all day, but
Oh, big
concentration
time, big
span
time.
of people
Oh, big
aren't that
time, big
long.
time. And I
So
run my mouth like I am now.
that's all right.
You know,
Well,
but
we'll
now we can use. But are you still doing artwork and all that good stuff?
I haven't done artwork in a while, but I do music here and there. So I
All
like
right, good.
to write songs and stuff like
Let me
that.
show you
So
one of my drawings that I did. This is my Watch superhero. Where'd it go? Oh, I always gotta. It's my Watch superhero drawing.
nice.
I haven't
Yeah,
finished it yet.
I've seen
I've
you.
been,
I
I've been,
saw that you
I've
did
been
art.
scared.
I got to
It's,
bring you back on. I got to bring you back on for another because I want to know what's on that bucket list. I want to know more about your art, and I want to know more about what you think, some of the governing bodies could be doing with people like you, with all the valuable information you have. So we'll probably have you back on for another show and, catch up on some more of the great knowledge and wisdom that you have.
okay, so you can find me. Everybody always say, okay, where can you find you on your
Yeah,
social media?
exactly. I was going to
Okay,
ask you that, but you
it's
beat me to the
very
punch. Go
simple.
ahead.
You can find me at Hurdle Great 4678. That's my Instagram, and I think that's my Twitter as well. So I'm Hurdle
Okay.
Great 4678 at on that particular social media,
There you
and of
go.
course keep your mind keep your eyes open for the Hurdle Click, and you'll see that it's the Hurdle Click.
Perfect.
The Hurdle
Right.
Click at
So
4678.
perfect. I always play a little game with my guest at the end. It's this or that. You just pick one
This
or
or
the
that.
other. All right. So
Okay.
here's the first one: USC or UCLA. I knew this one would get you.
UCLA. I got to go with the Bruins.
I know. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Steve the Bionic Man Lewis or Roy the Robot
Come
Martin?
on. Steven the Sauce Man, Boss Man, Bionic Man Lewis.
And
I
last
got love for
one.
I got love for Roy, but no robots.
Right. Last one. Olympic gold or world record?
Olympic gold. Records will be
Awesome.
broken in an oomph ball, biatch. That goes out to the Sauce Man.
And
Remember when we were all working out with the oomph ball at the
yep,
Home Depot Center back in the
yeah,
years ago with the
yep,
tennis young lady Sharapova.
yep,
That'd
sure
be
do.
cool. If you ever get in contact with Steven, tell Steven he needs to package instead of sending Roy Martin care packages with Twix and with trick boxes and Pringles and ab rollers. Have him send me an oomph ball.
I will. I'll
Okay?
message him after
Yeah.
this. I'll message him
Yeah,
after
definitely
this and tell him.
mention Steven and
All right.
but yeah,
So,
but I want to be on that. I want no. We got to put a 4x4 together instead of a bionic robot.
good idea.
And nah, because I saw McClinton Neal. He out there signed with Robot, and there's some other quarter milers out there from the Lone Star State talking that ish, and that don't go well with me because I've been trying
All
to get
right.
I'm getting muscles too. Boss man got me on the treadmill trying to get my abs. I've been drinking too much beer out here, eating cheese.
I'll put it out
You
there.
know.
I'll let them know you want in on some of the action.
Oh, definitely.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's been great talking to you. I definitely think we need to catch up because there's so much more that we need to chat about. What's going on with the federations, what's going on with the sports. There's transgender issues. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and I definitely
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
hear
yeah, yeah.
hear your
It's so funny
perspective.
because I remember you had some things on your Instagram, and I thought you was gonna dive into that today because that's been in my head for a minute.
Oh
Because
yeah,
in my class, we talk about anything and everything that comes to sports and integrity. We
yeah.
talk about trans. I mean, that's the topic of some of my classmates' thesis for their master's project.
We
So
got to bring you back. We're going to bring you back so that we can chat about some of that stuff. And like I said, utilizing people like you in the sport who have, so much to offer and why not more of that is being done. So let's definitely catch up again, okay?
oh, for sure, I really appreciate it. Thank you, man. Your hair looks lovely. It looks really nice.
Well, I do try, honey.
I see you got the little purple going on. Y'all
You
take
know
care.
me. All right. Good talking. Bye, Kevin.
Likewise.
Wow, what a character. Oh my gosh. He definitely has some stories to tell. And, a guy who took himself from the bottom to the top, like literally the top. I made it to the podium, but he was on the top of the podium. And I think he has a lot to offer in terms of what this sport needs, and like he said, strategy. And that's true in any industry. So whether it's sport or whether it's business, that strategy element is key. And I think if we could dig more into his thought process, we'll find out a lot more. But I hope you enjoyed that. Rather long. We are probably going to split this up, but I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Make sure you like, share, and follow. And go to www.globalsportschannel.com. And also, when you go on YouTube, click that little bell so that you get notified when new stuff comes up because there's always going to be new stuff. Okay. Anyway, ciao for now.